Hi and welcome to Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim and today's video is a summary of all of the different workouts that were completed for week 6 of a 15-week half marathon training program using Garmin Coach. It is just an executive summary, but if you want more details on any one of these different workouts, I post them as I complete them throughout the week. So if you want to check out maybe some run footage or what shoes I happen to be wearing that particular day, you could do that. I'll include a card above, so all you have to do is click on the card and it will take you right there. Hi everybody, it is Sunday and today I've got an easy run scheduled for today. So I'm going to start with a 5-minute jog to warm up, and then I'm going to run for 40 minutes at my easy run pace, which ranges between a 9:14 and 10:14 minute mile. And then I'm going to end the workout with a 5-minute jog to cool down. So in total, I'll be going 50 minutes. I'm out at the state park today, although I'm going to be running in a different direction. You know, the weather's warmed up just a little bit. It's not quite 50 degrees, but it's pretty darn close. The sun is shining and there are just a ton of people here today. So this is the first workout for week 6. So we have, a few weeks yet before the trail race. And I think I'm going to need every day of that few weeks to get prepared. So, hey, I'm going to get out and start getting my workout in, but I'll let you know how it goes. So I just completed the workout, finished my 5-minute jog to cool down, but I still have a little ways to go to get back to my car. So again, I just unpaused it, and I should be back there shortly. I'm not too far off the mark. But for now, let's just get back and check out and see how I did. All right, so let's check it out and see how I did. I ran for 55 minutes. So I extended it by just a little bit just because I had a ways to go to get back to my car. I ran for a total of 6.1 miles. And then as I scroll over, I was running at an average pace of a 9:03 minute mile. My best pace was 6:08. Not exactly sure where that was. My average speed was 6.6 miles an hour with a max speed of 9.8. And then my average heart rate was 160 beats per minute. My max was 174 beats per minute. My run cadence was 188 steps per minute on average with a max of 212 steps per minute. My elevation gain, 92 feet. My elevation loss, 82 feet. And I'm going to scroll over again. We can take a look at the lap times. It's kind of interesting here. I warmed up at a 9:33 minute mile. And that got me to some rustic trails. I was running an island, and there were, people that were out riding horses and all kinds of things. So it really kind of slowed me down a bit. I had to kind of stop and kind of work my way around folks on that part of my run. So I ended up with a 9:20 minute mile there. But then once I got past that, I was able to pick up the pace a little bit, and it was an 8:50, 8:49, 8:59, 8:39. 9:18, 8:38, and then an 8:21 minute mile to kind of finish out. So aside from that little bit of a detour where the trails were tight, and there's I think there's probably 6 people on horses, and so it was kind of difficult to get around them. But hey, it's a state park, and they're out enjoying it, and I'm glad that they are. It's just such a gorgeous day here. So I'm going to scroll over, and we can see, visually a graphical representation or graph representation of my pace, and it was pretty steady. Just as the pace ranges that I just went over indicated. And then my heart rate, of course, it picked up at the end. I was just kind of picking up the pace a little bit. My ankle felt okay, not great, but okay. But I was running in the Nike React Miler 2s, and I was kind of giving them a little bit of a test too, so I was enjoying that. My run cadence pretty steady, throughout. There was a couple of places. There are a few hills, not massive hills on the route that I took today, but there were a few. And you can see that in the elevation graph as well. But that did put me in, zone 5 for my heart rate for an easy run. I know it's a bit unusual, but that's, I guess, typical for me. So I don't know. Onward and upward, I guess, as they say. So hey, that's kind of the breakdown for the easy run for today for me. It's a goal pace workout today, so I'm going to start by warming up for 15 minutes with a jog, and then I'm going to run at my goal pace for 30 minutes, which ranges between an 8:04 and an 8:24 minute mile, and then I'm going to finish the workout with a 15-minute jog to cool down. So let's just get right into it. So I'm in the 15-minute jog to cool down at this point. I did go the optional distance mainly because I was, pretty far from home when I got to that point. But my ankle is bothering me a lot, so I'm pretty anxious to get home, put some ice on it, try to get it feeling better. It'll be a game day call tomorrow whether or not I try to run on it. I don't know yet. The workout itself, cardio-wise, didn't feel bad, but trying to keep that pace with my ankle the way it was really troublesome. It's cold today, so if I'm talking a little strange, it's because it's below freezing. It's about 30 degrees Fahrenheit right now. And I'm wearing the Hoka Rocket X on foot, which is one of my favorite, faster shoes to train in. But it just wasn't doing any good for my ankle. So, yeah, we'll get back and we'll tend to that. And fingers crossed, it won't be as bad as I think that it is. So let's go ahead and break it down and see what my results were. Now, I'm back in my home, in my studio, which is my spare bedroom. It's a little too cold for me to be doing this outside. I'm going to put this up on screen for you. I went just a little over an hour for the workout in total, which ended up being 6.92 miles. Now I'm going to scroll over and we'll take a look at some of the averages for the workout. I went an 8:41 minute mile on average for my pace, with a best pace of 7:13. My average speed was 6.9 miles an hour with a max speed of 8.3 miles an hour. My heart rate, 159 beats per minute on average with a max of 173 beats per minute. And then my run cadence was 194 steps per minute with a max of 214. My elevation gain was 600 and I don't have my glasses on, so bear with me, 682 feet with an elevation loss of 630 feet. Okay, so enough about that. Let's scroll over and we'll take a look at our lap times. Now, I'm most interested in laps 3 through 7, which would be 3 through 7, which would be my goal pace lap times. But we'll take a look. Lap 1 and 2, I was warming up at an 9:59 and 9:14 minute mile. And then I got right into lap 3, which is the goal pace piece of it. And again, my objective was to try to run between an 8:04 and an 8:24 minute mile. So let's see how I did. Lap 3 was at 8:17. Okay. Lap 4, 7:54. Lap 5, an 8 minute mile. Lap 6 was at 8:08 and lap 7 was at 8:12. So not bad. I was pretty darn close. For the most part, I was between that 8:04 and 8:24 minute mile. So I'll take that. I'm happy with that. And then lap 8, 9, and 10 were just my cool downs, that 15 minutes. So it ended up being a 9:06, 9:01, and then a little bit faster as I was getting closer to home, an 8:22, but certainly not blazing any, not going in any kind of fast speed there. Okay, I'm going to scroll over. I do like to look at this information visually in graph form. And so here we can see in the blue graph my pace, and clearly, my pace picked up when I hit the goal pace part of the workout, as did my heart rate. They coincide, which they should. And then my cadence, that was kind of all over the place. And it's because I was really trying to find a rhythm that was most comfortable for me to run in. So that was a bit tricky. And then, I had quite a bit of elevation gain and loss. I ended up running around town today as opposed to going out to the park, which was my first preference. I wanted to try to run the trails today, but it had continued to rain. It was raining yesterday. Today they were calling for possibly snow this morning, and I just thought, nope. I'm gonna stay close to home for today's workout. So I had quite a bit of elevation gain and loss. So I was running some hills, which I'm used to. I ran a track or a course that I normally do in town. So I was real familiar with the area and about what it was going to take to get my hour workout in where I needed to go. And then I ended up with, primarily in zone 5 for my heart rate, which I should. Half of the time, more than half the time I was in zone 5. And, half of the workout was at goal pace. So I should have been working a little bit harder during those periods. So there it is. That's the breakdown for Tuesday's workouts. Again, today was goal pace. Hey everybody, it is Wednesday. Today I've got stride repeats scheduled for my workout, so I came back down to my local state park to do that. So the format for today is I'm going to warm up for 10 minutes, and I apologize, I'm going to try to read this off my phone here. But I'm going to start by warming up for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to run for 20 seconds at a pretty high cadence. So I'm going to try to keep it between 150 to 200 steps per minute. And then I'm going to have 45 seconds to recover. I'm going to repeat that 12 times. And then I'm going to finish the workout with a 10-minute jog to cool down. So we're just going to get right into it, and I'll let you know how it goes. So I'm back in my car. I had to roll the window down because it was getting a little steamy in here. Again, it's about 29 degrees outside. So, you know, it's a little bit chilly, and with me being here warming it up, it kind of steamed up the windows. So anyway, so I got it called up, synced on my phone. Let's just go over the results. You know, the total workout was 33 minutes and 10 seconds. I went a distance of 3.76 miles in total. And I'm going to scroll over. I'm not overly concerned with what my average pace was, because I'm mostly concerned when I get to the stride repeat laps that I was doing. So, but the average pace was an 8:50 minute mile, and that includes both the warm up and the cool down. My best pace was a 5:24 minute mile. My average speed was 6.8 miles an hour with a max speed of 11.1 miles an hour. And then my average heart rate, 156 beats per minute with a max heart rate of 169 beats per minute. So not a lot of variance in my heart rate. My average run cadence was 194 steps per minute. Now that's what we were going for with the stride repeats, was trying to keep that cadence up. So that's really good. I'm happy with that. My max run cadence was 226 steps per minute. It does have my average stride length was 0.94 meters. My elevation gain was 128 feet. My elevation loss was 138 feet. Now I'm going to scroll over and we'll look at the lap times. And I'm most interested in the stride repeat laps, and that starts at lap 4. And I'm not going to go through all of them because there's 12. But what I did do is I took a sneak peek at this before I opened up my phone, just to see what my average cadence was, or what my cadence range was. And for those 12 different stride repeats, my cadence ranged between 202 steps per minute to 207 steps per minute. And my goal was to try to get it up between 150 to 200. So I, you know, overachieved a little bit, but you know, not terribly bad. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with the workout all, you know, in total. I'm going to scroll over again, and we'll take a look graphically at my paces, and that's always fun to look at because you can see all those little spikes where I was running the stride repeats. So it's kind of fun to see it in graph form. And that same goes for my heart rate. You can see where my heart rate was spiking every time I take off to run those stride repeats. I think that's pretty cool. I just think it's fun to look at. And then you can also see that with my cadence. So this is kind of neat because you can see where my cadence was just above you know, that purple line there. So it's kind of neat to see that line of dots going across the top there with a little bit of separation. A lot of times it just looks pretty flat. And then as I mentioned with the elevation gain, you can see visually that, you know, again, it was just kind of some slight hills there, nothing major that I had to be overly concerned with. I spent most of my time in zone 4, which, you know, that makes sense because 20 minutes out of the 30-minute workout was warm up and cool down. So I spent, you know, some time, the time that I was running the stride repeats, in zone 5. So that is the breakdown for Wednesday stride repeats. I was glad I was able to get it in. My ankle's already starting to feel a little bit tender, so I'm going to hurry up and try to get back and toss some ice on it to try to help mitigate anything that I might have done to it today. Hey everybody, it is Friday. Today I've got a progression run scheduled. So the workout for today was to start with a 5-minute jog to warm up, and then run for an hour at my easy run pace, which ranges between a 9:14 and 10:14 minute mile, and then to run an additional 10 minutes at a quicker pace, because it's a progression run, to run at an 8:04 to 8:24 minute mile, and then I was going to pick up the pace again for another 5 minutes, running at a 7:14 to a 7:34 minute mile, and then to finish the workout with a 5-minute jog to cool down. Unfortunately, my ankle just isn't up to it today. In fact, I probably won't run on Sunday either, but that doesn't mean that I still can't do things that might help me prepare for the race that's coming up in June. So instead, in lieu of do a progression run today, I brought my mountain bike down to the state park, and I'm going to have kind of a dual purpose today. So I'm going to get a little bit of exercise in, but still be kind to my ankle. So that's one. The second purpose is I'm going to do a little bit more exploring on the trails. So I should be able to explore, a lot more of the park on my bike than I could if I were on foot. So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I'm not able to run today and just try to make the most of it. So overall, let's see, I went 1 hour and 39 minutes on the workout, and I'll put this up on screen. I went just a little over 13 miles, 13.18 miles. And let's see, my average speed was 7.9 miles an hour, mostly all trails. My max speed was 19.6 miles an hour. I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. My average heart rate was 122 beats per minute. My max heart rate was 159 beats per minute. I was really trying to get my heart rate up toward the end of the workout, trying to still honor the progression run that I was supposed to be doing today, by picking up the pace toward the end of the workout, just to improve my VO2 max. Okay, I'm going to scroll over again, and my laps for my bicycle is 5 miles. So lap 1, I was averaging 6.6 miles an hour. Lap 2 was 8 miles an hour, and then lap 3 was just a little over 3 miles, and I had improved that speed to 11.8 miles an hour. And again, I was trying to pick up the pace toward the end of the workout with my mountain bike as if I were out running, trying again to honor that progression style of workout. And I'm going to scroll over again. We'll take a look at this visually, and you can see that, I was pretty steady Eddie as far as my speed goes in that graph, the blue graph. And then my heart rate, I did manage to get it to rise, but it wasn't really till I got into the faster portion of that workout, which was the last 3 miles. And then again, we can see the elevation gain and loss there in the green graph. For my heart rate zone, spent most of the time in zone 3, with a little bit of time in zone 4 and slightly a little bit more time in zone 2. So for overall, I'd say that, I'm pretty happy with where my heart rate fell for most of the workout. So that was a lot of fun. It wasn't a progression run. But it was about the best I could do for today, given the shape and condition that my ankle's in. So that completes the summary of all the different workouts that were completed for week 6 of our 15-week half marathon training program using Garmin Coach. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to join me next week as I break down week 7. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.